Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
After letting out a sigh of satisfaction and joining John in a room at the Salem Inn, Marlena extolled the virtues of spending the new year at the hotel, praising its facilities, particularly the hot stone massage, which was a much-needed treat. A development that would send Marlena back down to the lobby for more stress-relieving services was forewarned by John, who had been tinkering with a tablet computer. John went on to explain, "You are not even going to believe what Kristen has done now," which caused Marlena to roll her eyes. At the conclusion of John's account, Marlena trembled and began to worry that Stefan might not be the only one who had been indoctrinated. If Brady were brainwashed, he would be a lot more enthusiastic about having Kristen in our house, he'd be sleeping with her instead of, walking around with this dark cloud over his head, John said. Marlena agreed to the argument. While talking about their townhouse, John and Marlena concurred that it was strange that Brady had requested them to avoid it as much as possible that day. Eager to spend as much time as possible with Marlena at the hotel, John began to kiss her, but he quickly turned away and sneezed. "Isn't that a true mood breaker? I apologize." John shrugged and told Marlena, "It's that patchouli, that dang massage oil. It gets me every time." Still in the Peterson apartment with Eric and Sloane, Rachel declined a sandwich when she noticed it contained chunky peanut butter. After offering to make Rachel a different dinner, Sloane whispered to Eric that it was much more serious to be duped into assisting and abetting a crime. In response to Rachel's request that Sloane repeat the remark louder, Eric offered a switch on the most recent Jurassic Park film. "I just want to go home," Rachel said. "I thought you were having fun." Eric objected. "Well, I'm not now," asserted Rachel. Without a shrug, Sloane said, "Eric, you took a kid, not at all shocked by the situation." Sloane enjoyed seeing Eric try to work his way out of the predicament Rachel had just put him in. After considering several possible answers, Eric writhed and finally stated that it was just not safe to enter the Evans Black townhouse at that moment. However, Rachel quickly demanded more information, and Sloane was more than eager to comply. Eric clarified, "Your mommy is ill, and she doesn't want you to get sick." "Then why can't my daddy pick me up?" Rachel pondered, and Sloane interrupted again to demand an explanation. "Because your daddy, he's sick too," according to Eric. "Congratulations. They must have shared a kiss at midnight, which is how germs get attracted to you." Rachel was raving. After Rachel hurried to the kitchen to get a cookie, Sloane waited for everything to calm down before shaking his head at Eric. "Really? Do you wish to raise the child's expectations of her parents?" Sloane yelled. "I didn't know what else to say." Eric thought, "She's gonna be in a world of heartbreak when she finds out the truth, that her daddy hates her mommy, and they'll never get married," Sloane was worried about. "My mother's life is at stake, and so is my stepmom's and my aunt's, so if this is what it takes to save them, not to mention getting Brady out from underneath her thumb, then it's all gonna be worth it," Eric replied. Eric began to express regret for deceiving Sloane into cooperating with the plan. "You lied to my face," explained Sloane. "You know, you're right. I can't even believe what a skilled liar I've become," said Eric. "You're lucky that I'm madly attracted to you, otherwise I would have turned you in already," Sloane said. Eric said, "I'm going to make it up to you." "You'd better. If I get caught, I could be disbarred," Sloane complained. Eric insisted that you're not going to get caught, but Sloane wasn't quite that sure. "I need this to be over today, Eric, otherwise you gotta come up with a new plan," Sloane insisted. Kristen paced the Evans Black townhouse's living room, worrying to Brady that the fact that they hadn't heard from Rachel's kidnapper since the night before was extremely worrisome. Brady suggested, "We just need to be patient," which caused Kristen to yell in exasperation. "Why are you so calm?" Kristen lost her temper. Rachel needs us to keep clear heads here," Brady replied. Brady reassured Kristen that both Eric and John were still looking into Rachel's kidnapping. Brady insisted that it would be better to stay put, but Kristen began to hurry out, having come up with a hunch that Sarah had abducted Rachel once more with Xander's assistance. After promising to discuss the hypothesis with John and Eric, Brady comforted Kristen by giving her a hug and persuading her to attempt to get some sleep during the kidnapper's silence. Brady waited until everything was under control before calling Eric, while Kristen went to a bedroom. Brady told Eric, "I think we should pull the trigger on this and make the demand of Kristen now," after they had completed exchanging updates. According to Eric, "I was about to say the same thing. Once we make the demand for the orchid, Kristen's gonna know that it's coming from me, because I told her that I would never tell another soul, so I'm gonna have to be really careful about the way I break the news to her, so she doesn't go off the deep end," said Brady. "Isn't she already there?" Eric countered. "She can always go further. She can always get a little more cruel, a little more vindictive," Brady replied. In response to Brady's admission that he occasionally felt guilty about carrying out the kidnapping plan, Eric sneered and maintained that they had a very valid reason for taking such extreme actions. Brady clarified, if Kristen's telling the truth about them needing another dose of that serum, and Eric acknowledged that it was still unclear whether that assertion was true. Brady informed Eric that Kristen was currently sleeping. "She's gonna go nuts when she finds out that I was the one behind the kidnapping of Rachel. I gotta be really careful about finding the right moment to just drop that bomb on her," said Brady. "I think you just did," Kristen cried out from behind, having just made it back to the living room in time to hear the full statement. Brady said, "She's right here, I gotta go," and then hung up on Eric. Kristen began to snap at Brady. Brady attempted to reply, "Look, I don't know what you overheard, Kristen, but what I heard was that my suffering and my being sick to death with worry about Rachel is all on your head, so what the hell did you do with my daughter, Brady?" Kristen lost her temper. "Oh, please, can't your cunning little brain solve this one?" Brady retorted, "I took Rachel because I needed leverage on you, and you won't get her back until you turn over the orchid? And then you can just kick me out of the house and go running back to Chloe's?" After scoffing, Kristen informed Brady that the ship had already left for another port. Brady had messed with the wrong person, according to Kristen. "You bring Rachel back to me, or I'll let those women die. Is that a chance you're willing to take?" Kristen spit out. "You go ahead and withhold that orchid, but you're never gonna see your kid again. Is that a chance you're willing to take?" Brady shot back. Roman left the bar after serving a few patrons at the Brady pub and took the extra chair at Kate's table. "In any case, one of these is my New Year's resolution." Kate groaned and told Roman to stop at the first bottle of champagne, before acknowledging that surviving a life-threatening illness was at least one of the better reasons to cap off a year with a lavish celebration. Brady reassured Kristen that both Eric and John were still looking into Rachel's kidnapping. Brady insisted that it would be better to stay put, but Kristen began to hurry out, having come up with a hunch that Sarah had abducted Rachel once more with Xander's assistance. After promising to discuss the hypothesis with John and Eric, Brady comforted Kristen by giving her a hug and persuading her to attempt to get some sleep during the kidnapper's silence.